In this video, we're going to go over all of the challenges we overcame and all of the failures that we had in our garden this year. You're probably thinking, why on earth would anybody make a video about all of the challenges they overcame and all of the failures they had in their garden?
Emotional damage.
That is a great question. We wanted to share everything that we've overcome and all of the failures we've had so that you don't have to repeat those same mistakes in your garden. Because of how much has happened in our garden this year, we decided to break this video out into two different parts. This video is all about the challenges that we overcame and the failures we had. Our other video talks about all of the upgrades we made to our garden, the new planting techniques and plants we tried out, and then all of the successes we had in our garden. So make sure to check out our successes video as well. We're sure that there's something in there for you. We live in the suburbs and it's not always rainbows and roses. No pun intended. We love to garden and we get a lot of enjoyment from it, but it's not always easy. But we are always willing to try new things to see how they work and improve our garden space. And 100%, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. We've had quite a few challenges that we've had to overcome this year. In this video, we're gonna go over 3 challenges that we overcame and 7 different failures that we've had. Let's get into it. Number 1 for our challenges that we've overcome is we had an aphid infestation. Even though I pruned and took care of our climbing roses so well, we had so many aphids this year. It was a massive aphid infestation. Luckily for my friend Travis, he was able to send me this awesome recipe how to naturally get rid of and prevent aphids from coming back. Number 2 for challenges that we've overcome this year was getting rid of some ants in our planter box. We had to get rid of some ants that were in our planter box, causing massive problems with our broccoli. Our broccoli sadly did not survive the ant infestation.
Bring out Jade!
Number 3 for the challenges that we've overcome this year were wasp nests. We've noticed that there are a ton of wasps in our garden, which is a good thing because they're a predatory insect against other bad, malicious bugs in our garden. We actually had 3 different wasp nests that we had to get rid of this year. Some were easier than others. One of them was on the eave of my house. One was in the vent that exhausted from our bathroom, and one was even behind our trellis in our outlet box. Before we get into everything else, make sure to check out in our description below. We've got a free download for you of 6 gardening tips that we're sure are going to help you out in the future. We made it as a resource so that you don't have to worry about trying to remember everything we go over. This way you'll have it downloaded on your phone, tablet, or PC for future reference. Now it's time to go over all of the failures we've had. So what were all of our failures this year? Our blueberries in pots. I could have swore I read the package correctly. We had some failed concrete slabs that we tried to do with the dry pour. Yeah, and our grass is struggling. I tried to put a fire pit in my backyard. I still haven't finished the back corner of our garden and it is a weed patch. We unfortunately tried to harvest some potatoes early and that was a fail. I don't know about you, but we have never been able to get blueberries off of our blueberry plants. Our blueberries are planted in pots and in the springtime, we always get lots of flowers on it. Even though we add acidic soil to these pots, we've never gotten fruit from them. I didn't think Cosmos got so tall. I just didn't remember either. But obviously, it gets like 6.5 feet tall. So that's really sad for my poor bush beans down here. They didn't grow at all because they had no sunlight and they had hardly any water. I mean, we got a few plants, but hardly anything. We love this flower so much, and it is such a cool thing to see how tall they get in such a short period. Make sure to read your packages correctly on how tall your plants get. Another failure we had this year, maybe I should say I had this year, because my wife will take no part in claiming this, but I just say we so that it helps me feel better. I wanted to add some concrete here because as you sit here on top of the cap of our retaining wall, I wanted to have, some firm footing here. I put these down last September and they cured, but after one winter, they're just spalding and they look absolutely terrible, which means now I need to tear them out. We tried something this year that I've never done before, which is called lawn leveling. Based on the huge potholes that we had, we got a mixture of 50% topsoil and 50% sand to try and level out all of our grass. Now, some of the grass spots were quite a bit deeper than others, so we had to fill it in like 1.5 inches. So even though we put grass seed down below the 1.5 inch layer of sand and topsoil mixture, that mixture was too deep for the grass seed to penetrate up through it. So we had a lot of barren parts in our grass this year, but now that the temperatures are getting cooler and it's almost fall, we reseeded it and it's growing really well. But what you'll see down here is we've got a lot of extra rocks. I didn't know how many rocks I was going to use on my retaining wall, so I bought a few extra. And then another failure we had tried to put a fire pit in our backyard. I did this before looking at the local restrictions in our area. And it turns out the place I wanted to put my fire pit is way too close to our house. We've just got a bunch of bricks for when we decide where we want to put it. But right now, it's holding up one of our solar lights. Super good use of the materials, handyman Dan. And let's just not look in this back corner where we haven't finished building that yet. Luckily, our teasing Georgia rose and our sunflowers and cucumbers grow really well on this trellis, and they mask the fact that this is all dirt. Yeah, let's not look back here. We haven't quite figured out yet the best time to harvest our potatoes. We've grown a ton of potatoes in these awesome fabric bags. So some of our failures is we've always understood that you harvest potatoes when the plant is fully dead and laying over and brown. We thought that some of our potatoes were ready because in these little bags they were dead and laying down. Turns out that we just weren't watering them enough. We actually got quite a few of these bags because we wanted to plant a lot of potatoes. We dedicated this planter box to potatoes, and it's got a lot of herbs and flowers that will help the potatoes grow better.
Yeah, jackpot.
So on this side we've got golden russet potatoes, this side we've got red potatoes. In the middle we've got marigolds, we've also got some dill, and then we've got calendula.
It's like digging for fossils. Whoa, that's a big one. Nice, that's a good one.
So even though we harvested one bag of potatoes early, we actually got a really good harvest of potatoes this year. Personally, I'm pretty grateful for all of the failures we've had. I know that many of those failures has really ticked off my wife, but through all of those failures, we have learned new techniques and new things that we could do to overcome those challenges. We would love to hear about all of the challenges you've overcome or all of the failures you've experienced. Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you on the next one.